Okay, hello, we're doing Skelly Cam stuff right now, which means my cameras are all screwed up. And I was like trying to get them set up before I turned record on, but I was like, oh wait, this is actually part of the development process. Cameras are strange, very strange. I found this recently, which are the USB. Are they a foundation? USB IF International Foundation? USB Implementers Forum Incorporated, a nonprofit corporation founded by a group of companies that developed the Oh yeah, there's all the guys. I should fix. Well, you get what I give you when I give it to you. Board of Directors: Apple, HP, Intel, Microsoft, Renesas, STM Microelectronics. This is one of those things where it's like I look at this and I'm like, I'll bet these are the ones. I'll bet these are the real ones. Texas Instruments, fucking TI-83, President and Coup. Interesting. Ravencraft. It's a name? Who are you? What do you do? Oh, I run USB. What? All of it? Yeah. Portland. Coup. Retired. Retired from Intel. Last served as senior technology. Oh, interesting. So it's a non-profit. He retired and then started running it. But he's still listed as having retired. This isn't, I mean, welcome to what dev work looks like when you're working with me. Articles of incorporation. We have one of these. Members. They have members. We don't have members. They have corporate bylaws. Now the real question. What's your name? Oh, who's your... You got one camera that's not fucked up, so... This is my focus hand gesture. It's like, oh wait, why is my finger under tension? Because I'm paying attention. Right. Oh yeah, it's like paying attention. That's cute. USB Implementers Forum Incorporated. What a wild name. IRS 990. That's how you look up. This is how we... Okay, over under. What do you think their annual revenue is? What do you think? So what's their revenue? What's their cost? What's their excess? What's their total assets? Revenue is the money that they bring in every year. Let's look at the last 3 years so we can get... 3 is the minimum number to have mean and standard deviation. So we'll look at the last 3 years. Revenue, expenses, excess is revenue minus expenses, and if that's positive, then that goes into their just like asset pool, which I think is the same thing as a endowment. I don't know. I'm gonna say at least $1 million. I'm gonna say 7 figures. 7 figures. I like that way of guessing, logarithmically. Doing pretty okay, nice, pretty stable. A little bit of dip. Oh yeah, but look at that. See, this is healthy. We love to see this for a nonprofit. Because this means that, so they have six and change million. They can operate for 1 year with 0 revenue, and then they'll die in the 2nd year. These are good numbers to have in mind when working on Skelly Cam. USB Implementers Forum. Beaverton, Oregon. Beaverton, Oregon, which is near University of Oregon, which is where Jonathan Hurst worked, and now has Agility Robotics, which is a very big techie company. I wonder if they have Beaverton 501c6. Donations are not tax deductible. Huh? What? Why not? Business leagues, designated as 501c6. Business leagues, chambers of commerce, real estate boards, etc., created for the improvement of business conditions. Wild! Because I'm 501c3. Skelly's 501c3. Okay, now I want the cameras to work. And the best trick because basically I've been doing Skelly Cam stuff. These are Garbo webcams. But they're all blocked. I have 4 right now. One of them is not giving anything, although the green light is on. Yeah, this one's off. But you can see it's got the green light. Red light means power, green light means streaming. I don't know. Sending images to me. What are we doing? We are resetting the cameras because I pointed to Skelly and that bothered me that didn't work. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the cameras. Bye. Well, I didn't turn them off. Turn everybody else off. Where'd you go? Oh no. What happened? Oh, I did that. Whoops. Control Z. Oh, that's wild. They move? That's video left. The names, I really should change these names. Yak shaving. For the... Oh, this is an interesting thought. You're here. Kind of like this idea for my ADHD girlies. Malcolm in the middle. Yak shaving. It's like a joke. This is called yak shaving. That's what I'm doing. They made exactly the same joke in Modern Family, I guess, which is, I don't know, the one with the lady from Full House. Is that right? Yeah, where they made the exact same joke for that sort of cartoon dad, except that they, instead of just playing it as a gag, they like overlaid it with one of the daughters reading the diagnosis of ADHD. Who am I? Where am I? Who are any of you? What are we doing? We're here. Great. Oh, the camera's reset. Because that's what I was trying to do originally. I was just trying to get them to like reset so that they would re-auto brightness. I don't want to. Who's missing? Who's missing? You're missing. Rename. First of all, the ordering apparently changes, so we're just going to call these non-ordinal things would be great. Copy. Great. And why didn't you show up? Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? These are also kind of joke games that don't have an identity. Are you being held by somebody else? No. Because when I turn you off, The light does not turn off. Oh, I'm an idiot. The real solution is, when in doubt, unplug it. Unplug it. Plug it back in. Now the green light is off, but the power light is on. And somehow in that process of unplugging it, it disrupts whatever nonsense is going on back here in this USB. Like in the actual, so USB video class is the guy, where was that thing I was seeing yesterday? Is it in the FAQ? Yeah, it's all somewhere in this shit. Whatever. Oh, this. Look at this. Look at this. Pause to read. Incoming data state diagram for stream-based video format. Incoming data state diagram for frame-based video format. And they have like a fetch, start, fetch, not data available, loop. I think webcams, following state diagram helps depicts the host behavior in handling data packets. Host. Is host the camera or the computer? Camera, right? Whereas there's the computer hosting the camera connection, or is the okay. This is one of those. This is a perfect example of an opportunity. This is a rabbit hole I will take intentionally. The other ones I took, you know, semi-intentionally, because, and the reason why I will take it is because it's a fundamental. It's like there's a core level shibboleth that I'm missing here. There is a term, host, that I know is important, and I am unable to identify which part of the dyad the host is. And I know that there's like the computer, and then there's the camera, and then they're talking through the USB port, because remember, we were talking about USBs and cameras. One of them the host, the other is some other fucking thing. Why am I saying this out loud into the air to you, hypothetical future primates, when I could be talking to a actual present AI? Okay, so this is Skellybot. It's John Mathis's server. It's like the default server, but it is hosting. Skellybot lives here. Skellybot lives there. We'll talk about Skellybot at some point. It's not like a teaser. I'm just literally too busy to make the demo stuff. So if you are interested, if you are titillated, that's not my fault. Wait. 3 cameras. Pathetic. I'm not going to explain this, I'm just going to do it. Here we are in cameras. God, man, when it can see vision, I can literally copy paste that diagram in there. Okay, and on my phone, verbal protocol analysis. Here I am in Discord. Skellybot lives in Discord. I don't want to type out my question. I want to talk it out because I was just talking it out. Discord being a sloppy little... a sloppy pile of poor optimization, or not poor optimization, poor prioritization. Corpo. Because you're going for corpo profit, you bastards, your prioritization sucks, which means your software is garbage under the hood. I love it for what it does. I hate it for what it is. I don't hate it. I understand. But I'm harnessing my anger. At the injustice of the world. blah, 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 they do allow you to send voice memos, but you cannot send them through the desktop. You have to send them through the app, through the mobile app, which is like, great, we appreciate it. But like, why are you, like, what is all this shit that you're adding when you're not just like fixing your core functionality? Why can't you keep track of my fucking audio? Buzz, buzz. So I just found the USB video class definition files, sort of looking into like the guts of how cameras work. And I came across this diagram. It doesn't encode silence, so pauses are not costly. I came across this diagram that is in the USB Video FAQ 1.5 PDF. The diagram is 2.10.2. It's titled Incoming Data State Diagram for Frame-Based Video Formats. And the sub-description is, the following state diagram depicts the host behavior in handling data packets arriving from the device for frame-based video formats. Support of the FID and EOF bits is required. My sort of core question here, core concept question is, what's a host in this situation? Is the host the camera or is the host the computer? Is that like a general, I know that's a general term in like computing. People talk about host, and I'm just trying to like wrap my head around how that sort of concept maps onto this case, which again, to be clear, is in the USB device class definition for video devices FAQ. Host like local host? Is the host the computer or the camera? Where does the buffer live? Where does the data live? It says fill buffer in the diagram, and I'm wondering, like, where does that buffer live? I let myself ramble into a different topic, which is a mistake. I should have, like, a lot, so that the general question was like terminology, and I was setting the context of like, we're cameras, we're talking about this. I should have stopped myself before I started talking about like the buffer stuff, because that's like a different kind of question. It'll do fine, the bot will do fine with that. Like, in that particular meandering was not particularly egregious. So, practice. The bot is a smaller mind. It's very clever. GPT-4 Turbo preview. Still very clever. It ain't you. The main thing it doesn't have is experience, which provides additional context. Focus. Okay, so this is the audio message which popped out. I sent from my phone. It's in Discord. That is a nice thing about Discord. It's like shared model. Everywhere. Love it. They're operating at a scale I can't really comprehend. Trillions of messages. Trillion, I believe, is they hit that milestone. I don't know. Anyways, apps. Open chat thread. These blue ones are the dev bot who's currently offline. Open chat thread from this message, which is the same, runs the same command as /chat, except you're running it from the context menu. It's going to take a second because it's going to have to process the whole thing. And then it comes in here and it says beginning text from attachments, which there's an audio attachment. No, there's no content text in this. Like, I didn't type anything because you don't do that for video. And then it will give me this blob. There was a second where I realized I was holding the phone away from my mouth, so it's possible that it didn't record that part, and there's like a missing chunk here. You won't really be able to tell, because it doesn't, this is the raw text output. It does not give you information about pauses and time. Pauses and time. Although the actual full JSON should. This is the JSON for the conversation, which is it's a little broken, but it does give you the context. In this context, okay. I'm also kind of living on the assumption that eventually the bot is going to be scraping this audio and giving me like to-do lists. So that's part of the reason why I feel so comfortable and empowered to just do like the bounce around conceptual spaces. I am relying on the assumption that like not right away, but relatively soon, this bot will be able to scrape this audio and turn my linear thought into a beautiful tree. Branches, rabbit holes. Rabbit hole is a branch. On the assumption. Anyways, fucking whatever. To answer the question I originally had, this rabbit hole, this shibboleth that I went down, and because of the type of brain that I have, everything that gets touched must be followed. In this context, the host is the computer. I actually got that. I didn't want to say it when the audio was going because I was like localhost, right? Localhost is the server process, and then the client talks to the host. Is that right? Parasite? Is a client a parasite? I guess it's ideally it's a symbiote. But I think actually the assumption is that it's not it's like I don't think the client is supposed to or allowed to benefit the server. I think the server is not supposed to have any knowledge of the existence of clients. It's like there's one, there's a million, I can't even tell. I have no way of knowing. I don't know if that's true. Emotionally, though. Okay, in this context, the host is the computer or the system that the camera, USB video device, is connected to. The host controls the camera, processes the incoming data, and typically also provides power to the device. The buffer mentioned in the diagram would be located in the host's memory, where it temporarily stores the data packet arriving from the camera before they are processed. Okay, so it's in the computer. It's in the computer. Okay, one more follow-up here. So basically, broader scope, I'm trying something out where I have all my lab meetings and stuff like that at 11, like through the week. I set that up, and I was finding that, and I tend to like do a lot of work in the morning, and I was finding that my body wanted to like work I couldn't stop myself from working early enough, so I would find myself running up against the beginning of lab meeting, kind of like rushing to wrap things up, and then it was just kind of like a stressor and annoying and whatnot. And things would kind of get left hastily finished. I think probably a lot of bugs were introduced in that time. So I started thinking, well, what if I just like recorded one of these like dead stream videos, like leading up, because there's already a limit on this. I just can't talk like this for more than an hour straight. Or I can, but I notice. Because there's like a red number that's incrementing upwards, so at least I can tell that. So I'm wondering if this, I'm trying this out as like maybe like a wind down into lab meeting. Yeah. Like wake up, work on some stuff. Oh, this is like actually a nice like, what's the word? Harvest? Of whatever I do in the morning. Okay. Focus, created for user. Why is there two? Created thread, open chat thread. Use that. Okay. created thread. Oh, right. Okay. It makes two because it's one to denote that you triggered it, and it's another one of the thing that was created. It's kind of annoying when they're right next to each other. It's not really annoying, it's just confusing. But this is actually kind of necessary because if you trigger it from inside of a chat, which you can, it will leave the like a breadcrumb in that. Oh, wrong guy. This is the dev pod. And then it leaves this breadcrumb here, and then opens this one there. So there's a way to connect. So that's actually not a bug. It's more just like it's a bit. I guess it feels like a bit of slop, but there's a reason for it. So these ones shouldn't be in memory. There's no way to tell. What was the question here? Oh, I do have one follow-up. Let's keep this one short because we're going to run out of time. See? So does that mean for a simple USB webcam, hold on a second. Let me restart. Because I'm saying that out loud, so it's like I'm writing with words, but like on paper, but don't worry about it. Can you please test my partial understanding of how cameras work? So I know that if you take a little, cheapo USB webcam, and it has like a little chip board on it that includes like a camera sensor and a bunch of other little pieces of electronics, and then a USB connection that has 4 pins, power in, power out, digital in, digital out. And when you connect it to the computer, a red light turns on, at least for the ones I have, showing that power's coming in. And then if you start streaming it, we start streaming it to the computer, a green light turns on. And so what I'm kind of starting to gather here is that what happens is that the host, which is the computer, sends some kind of a signal to the camera board, which is processed, and then the camera enters I guess a new state, where the state is that now I'm streaming, I guess, probably, or sending frames. I think it's frames. I think it's frames because they're read in as frames when I use OpenCV. And that also turns on the green light on the camera board, and then the data at that point for cheapo webcams cheapo webcams, they just start. This is the part I really want you to check me on. I might be stuttering a little bit, so forgive me if the language is confused. So when the host sends the signal to the camera to start sending images, frames, or whatever, they just kind of start coming down the data pipe. Because there's like the red and black wires in the USB, which is power, 5-volt power, and then there's the usually like green and white wires, which is 3-volt data, I think, and there's like a D plus and a D minus. Presumably some signal, some pattern, I guess, is being sent down the data pipe. And then that is read in from the USB port, and then the pattern of the 3-volt pulses is encoded in the buffer. Is that right? Am I getting that right? Please first provide a very terse markdown formatted outline of the things that I said, and then evaluate those claims according to your understanding of the USB video class definition. And also let me know how well you understand and how that USB video class definition into what level of specificity and knowledge do you have of that. Thank you. I really look forward to your evaluation of my understanding of this complex topic. That was not a short message. Don't fail. Okay, so when I send the voice memo in the message, it does appropriately attach the full transcript. But when I trigger it from a top level, it doesn't make it through, which is not shocking because there's a little bit of screwery in that sort of context trigger. All right. That's what I love thinking about talking to the bot too. Is like after that piece of like mental effort, I get to take a break while it's answering. Hey, I did it. This is, yeah. It's a thing when using these AI things for teaching. Hard and fast rule. Hard and fast moral rule that I will follow and defend to the death. You cannot use AI to evaluate student performance relative to other students. Illegal. Mamnua. Verboten. But you can, I have just a caveat to that sort of strong and fast thing I've been saying online for a while. You can use it to evaluate their understanding relative to some established data source, or their performance relative to like their previous self. Outline, USB, this is the things I said. USB webcam components, sensor, electronics, USB connection, yeah. USB connection pins, pin, power in, out, digital in, out, yeah. Is it gonna, I doubt it. Do I have one that's been destroyed? Probably. Yep. Oh, actually, here is the... Here's the plug. You can see, if you look into it, there's got 4 little leads, little metal bits. Those leads go to these wires, following standard... Fuck. Okay. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So standard rules: red is hot, red is the power. That's where power in. It's not really how electricity works, but it doesn't really go in and out. It's more like a quantum state space thing. But we used to think that electricity was liquid, and so we used liquid flow analogies in our diagrams still, even though we know it ain't the way it is. And if you didn't know that turning on electronics just creates like a coupled quantum state of the electrons, and then that's where the power comes from, then, well, yeah, so red is power. Red is, so 5 volts. Can I use my head as a backdrop? I can. 5 volts in, 5 volts out. Again, in and out is a metaphor, pretending that electricity is a liquid. Which is, so if 5 volts goes in, 5 volts has to come out, is why it's a useful metaphor. And generally, coloring wise, the power is red, and the out, the negative is the red is okay. Red is generally power positive, which is also in. Black is power out, which is negative, which is also called ground, because you have to complete the cycle. And so the ground is kind of like dump, I guess is one way to say that. There are also these other two, green and white, which are also the same mechanism as the power. It's just smaller voltages. It's 3 volts, which is like, again, like a standard number if you bust out your Arduino. Do I have an Arduino in arm's reach? The question is not do I have one in this room, it's the question do I have it in arm's reach. And the answer is yes. This is actually a Raspberry Pi, that same vibe. And this is, I think, this is a buried GPS IMU shell, which you're not going to be able to see that shit at all. But trust me, just look on electronics, you'll see it. It's like 5 volt, 5V, 3.3V. And that line runs data. So, like, basically, it's a voltage, but it's not constant. It like fluctuates, and it fluctuates like in binary, like on or off signals. And the pattern in those signals encodes the data, and that pattern is being generated the pattern of data coming off of the camera board is being generated on the basis of the configuration and physical properties of this sort of physical electronics board, specifically that little shiny bit in the middle. You come up with a better way to show like details. I mean, like a small cam. Later. Gross. Sorry, a little tag of skin hanging off my thumb. Excuse me. How rude. Yeah, so there's also this, like, you can see this processor on the back. That's probably the right distance. All this electronics and stuff like that. That thing there. These wires, the black and red, are for a speaker, which only has one signal. Because I think, oh, that's interesting. It's red in, black out, so power in, power out. And speakers are, you can see the speaker. Oh no, I pulled this. Oh, yeah, they were connected here. Did I break it off? It broke off. I think it was these are really crappy cameras. You can see there's like glue. Like, I hope that whoever made this is doing well, because there is some human labor involved in this. You can kind of see it in the way that the glue is applied. So, hope you're doing well. Yeah. So this is probably a CCD or CMOS sensor. It's probably, I think it's CMOS, CCD, sorry, because it's garbage. And there's lots of videos on how that stuff works. Wow, that was a bit of a. I didn't mind it. that was certainly a diversion, but I didn't mind it. Oh, can you actually see this too? So here's the lens. This bends light so that it can hit the sensor properly. And you see that reflection? See how it's kind of reddish? It's because that is a infrared filter. It's filtering out the infrared light because these sensors can see infrared, but we as humans cannot. So yeah, so it filters. It's so that's visible pass IR block filter on it, and that's why it's kind of got a reddish sheen. It's because sorry, that part. This part is an IR. Hot mirror, I believe they call it. Camera's behavior. This is all the stuff I was saying via USB. Can you read that? Probably. I think I record these in 4K. Never got. We just haven't talked about code at all. We got 40 minutes, so that's 20 minutes until I turn into a pumpkin. I think that's the kind of going to be the rules. Like these are an hour out. Anything an hour is already too much. But I just think like chunk wise, it's a good chunk. And then it always winds up being plus or minus 50%. It's just I think how the stats work. Evaluation. Your understanding aligns with the basics of how a webcam operates. The webcam receives power from the host computer. Upon receiving a command from the host, it enters a streaming state. So I now have enough information from my very brief my experience with computer vision or what the hell ever, and also just my perusal of this guy. And I can see that it said that there are apparently two different types of this thing. One is frame-based, one is stream-based. This is from 2012, so like it's firmly within the bot's window. But it was kind of, I had to dig for it. So I don't know. Oh, look at this guy. Pause to read. Oh, look at all this stuff. This is the FAQ in this bucket. There's a lot of other stuff. H.264, all these things like stream-based. Yeah, like I do not have the expertise or like brain space to like navigate this stuff on my own, but I absolutely intend to like make this. Ooh, that's actually a good project. Just like just grind this up into vector stores and then make a bot designed to teach me this, because this is within my zone of proximal development. It's like it's like zone of proximal development is a teaching term. Good burger. I know some of those words. It's a video. Get out of here. That's your zone of proximal development. If you're here, if this is where you are, that's where you want to be. Because that's where it's like I know some of those words means I have some connection mentally to this topic. It is not completely smooth. Like there's things I can grab on, there's hooks I can grab onto in there. They're not complete, but I at least can recognize the words that I don't understand. There's words that I recognize, and that means that I have at least encountered these concepts before. Things like programming and computer vision, stuff like that. I know all those words, and when I see a word I don't understand in that space, I'm like, oh shit! Like let me figure out that word. This is very much in my zone of proximal development, which is a term I got from JKL, John Lindstedt guy. So this is where I should be learning. I recognize many of these words, but not all of them, and they don't, so so hence this whole little rabbit hole of like, oh wait, actually I don't understand this, I wish I do, but there is a term I recognize, which is host. Let's see if we can connect those things together, and then that sort of unlocked this sort of whole thing, like about like, oh wait, is that how the cameras are actually sending data to the guy or whatever? I just noticed for the first time on this board here, actually you can see that there is text. But I was finally, like, if you can only read it on a glare, and it says SRI Cam 8X. Is there any connections I need to make before I go down this hole? Zone of proximal development, teaching term, using the bot as a teaching tool. I need to learn stuff. I want to know more about cameras. I'm going to take this bucket of data that is beyond, that is within it, that is beyond my understanding, but is within my reach grasp. But I don't have the type of mind that's going to let me sit down and just read that shit. And I did, that would be boring and take forever and be way too effortful. So I want to chew it up into vector stores and then make a bot category channel in my Skellybot server to explain these concepts to me, which will be a good opportunity to test the process of using the bot to teach people things, using myself as first user, which is always a good idea. Linked. SRI Cam 8X. Shenzhen. Oh. Who are you? These are, in fact, these are from Alibaba, so I'm not. It actually says S also right here. Again, you're not gonna be able to read this. I'll get better cameras for this type of thing. I just need anything with auto focus. These are fixed cameras. This camera actually is this board, so it's just got this housing. This is why you never clean anything up. It's not good advice. But on here there's a little like stamp that says SH037-main-v1.2. And now I'm looking at, and then it also has this board that says SRI Cam, and then new line 8X. And then this thing, yeah, so SH037. Now I'm looking at, and it's SRI Sri Home, SRI Home. I don't know how you would pronounce that, which is a company run by Shenzhen SRI CCTV Technology Co. CCTV is typically, I associate with like security cameras. Shenzhen SRI CCTV Technology Co. Limited is a professional manufacturer and a global leader in IP camera security monitoring and security-centric solutions for smart homes and businesses of today and tomorrow, which has own factory and many years experience in surveillance industry. Listen, man, I can't speak Chinese, so respect. Look at this. What is going on here? Did I do that? Is that me or is that you? Oh, it's you. That just makes me like you more. About us, certificate. This is a rabbit hole, but that's okay. I actually don't mind this rabbit hole. Products, because I never knew anything about, like, these cameras have always just been black boxes to me, literally black boxes. I mean, I crack them open and then you can see inside the black box. But it's always just kind of like, I didn't know anything more than that. So I was just like, yeah, it's a camera. It comes from, it's like, the computer sees it as USB camera. Who makes it? Where do they make it from? What are the components? What are the pieces? What are the parts? Good questions. Now, I do suspect that this is also kind of explaining something of like the business model here, because these cameras are so cheap. But like, you know, we have to manufacture this, and there's someone's using their human hands to like glue some parts of it on. So like, how do you do that? And the answer is you have a product line that uses sort of the same core technology and just has like nicer housings and sort of better built, like, you know, this one's got a Zoom module, it's got Wi-Fi module, WeChat, but basically, yeah. And then here's your Alibaba link. Oh man, this is wild. This is such an unlock. And then you basically have like a core team of people who have like a core competency in like building camera stuff, and I'll bet those people understand this backwards and forwards. At least somebody on their team probably understands this stuff backwards and forwards. They don't need that many. You only need like, you know, one-ish, and then enough to teach. And then, you know, a lot of the rest of this stuff, you know, it's just plumbing. Oh, hello. I don't want to watch your video. I'm sorry. Company profile. I'm like, see, like, oh, this is an image. That's so funny. No, it's like, it's not particularly customer facing. Like, they do have they have a web portal, but they clearly don't have like a team of people working on their website actively, because if they did, then this wouldn't be an image. Oh, I wonder if this is how they're solved. I'll bet this actually, or here's a question: if I go to Chinese, will that still be an image? Is this? This is simplified. So it's mainland. I'm missing a cookie of some kind. Oh, here's our guys. That doesn't look terrible. I mean, I know that it's propaganda. Not necessarily because it's China, but just because it's like, it's the way that the organization chooses to present itself. It is almost by definition propaganda, because it's a non-human entity presenting itself to you. That's a bit much. But this doesn't look, I mean, too terrible. This theoretically would mean it's a, you know, small team. Seems like a good move, meaning basically it's like, assume that each of them has some degree of skill and training. You know, again, like, it's possible that the realities of this world are darker than it appears, but that's always true. I guess really the thing is, it's probably either the downstream or upstream elements that where things might get worse, because they are presumably they're not manufacturing everything. They're getting boxes of parts, and it's possible that somewhere down that stream there's some you know, worse conditions. But this, at least, I mean, you know, that's always true, right? You know, cobalt mines, right? Like, yeah. But yeah, like, you know, technical equipment, they're presumably getting training, you know, on the job training. Hopefully they're being compensated sufficiently. They're getting technical training, which is, you know, transferable. I don't know enough about Chinese culture to know about, like, you know, how people are allowed to move from jobs to others, but like, presumably you can, I don't know, I just don't know how, I literally don't know how that works in that culture. I assume it is different from ours. Went to an exhibition. This guy looks, my money's on German. Just guessing. I wonder where this was. Some trade show somewhere? See, what's interesting to me about this is, I think, so we got Chinese, which is presumably this is one they probably actually do have at least a couple people. Maybe one, maybe more of these people is like the website person or something like that. That's at least part of their responsibilities. and then they have to they translate it into English, Italian, French, and Spanish. So not German, but Germans speak English. So generally, if you're a techie German, you probably speak English. Okay, but this is a raw image, which somehow their workflow of the translation is happens by that means these pictures are the same. Oh, that's amazing. I think it just does it just how do I make this over here? Dr. Wright. Wait, do this. How do this? Huh? Can I? Huh? No. I'm wondering if they just like pasted the picture over the text. Oh, there's alts. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wait. Image. This is an image. Okay. 4 minutes to make a point. I think it's just a different site. It's not a bad approach, actually, if in a language that you don't speak that has like an entirely different like structure from your own, you can attach it as an image and have confidence that like at least like the size of that image is never going to change. It depends on the workflow. Anyways. 1040. Here we are. We're on their Alibaba. We're on their projects. We're looking PC webcams. Yeah, close this particular loop. So yeah, they got like USB webcams. Yeah, they are. This one they're actually pasting their name on it. The ones that I have don't have the name pasted on it. And they actually don't look exactly like this. I have others that look like this. That looks like that. But those ones actually don't work. These are the ones that we're using. This one's apparently broken. That's a different front plate. You can see this one is like shiny all over. And these ones I bought at least off like Amazon for like $8 a pop or something like that, and they did not work. This is like these ones, and I think these ones are the reason for like the general rule. Like, if you pay less than $10, they might not work. But I don't really know why. But like this kind of gutsy stuff is like where those answers will come from eventually. So as far as I can tell, like these companies do, like they kind of mix and match the casing as far as I can tell, and like that it changes from time to time. So it's also possible that they sell this board independently in some other part of the whatever Chinese manufacturing infrastructure gets that part and puts it in their own housing, and then sells it separately through Alibaba. Again, I don't really know how that. There's a whole navigable space. There's a like what's it called? It's a Chinese economy is a state economy, I think, but they have capitalist elements. There's a term for it, like they have capitalist elements, I think, which allows them to have like independent companies operating kind of under like capitalist general principles of like competition based stuff. But they have, but I think where it remains communist is that the companies are like explicitly like the central government can explicitly dictate certain things. Like it's kind of like our system where we have corporations and they're like ostensibly supposed to follow government regulations, but like you know there's a whole like something there where that like sometimes they don't like they're allowed to like ask not to or something like that. And I think that China is like it's still a capitalist thing, so the companies there are multiple companies and they are allowed to compete with each other, which is why you can see the same product more than once. But there is some degree of centralized control that is not present in our government economy structure. See, bot would know. The bot can answer these questions. Ooh, that's a good prompt, actually. That's a great prompt. I can be like, hey, bot, here's one of your students talking about stuff. Tell me everything they got right. Tell them everything they got right. Tell them everything they got wrong. Yeah, okay. This is emerging. I like this. This is the same kind of, this is the same headspace as this thing of like, if I'm trying to, it's the same thing as free mocap. Like if I'm trying to make a tool for other people, the first thing I do is make the tool that I personally would want to use. This same case, if I'm trying to make a tool that will help people teach people, and I want to be keeping my same headspace of like everything is about the student, then I should be making the tool that I would want to receive as a student. And then I basically do the same thing where I sit on both sides as like, hey, I'm the dev, hey, I'm the student. But now I guess I'm three roles where, hey, I'm the dev, hey, I'm the teacher, hey, I'm the student. And it's really more mentorship than teaching, I think. Because the assumption is that there is a personal one-to-one relationship being formed over time. Whereas classes are one-to-many relationships, and like maybe you'll get to know them, but like the mechanism is not set up for individual instruction. It's just like it's a one-to-many relationship. So, so anyways, that's Skelly Cam. Okay, are there any loops that I need to connect? I think I was intending for this to be ScaleCam Dev, so I should at least show that. I have 45 minutes before a lab meeting, which still feels a little tight emotionally, but better. I don't feel like I'm like, oh my god, I gotta make sure it works. So now I'm just gonna click this button. Show you this is the basic idea. Main process, front end process, back end process. Front end is Qt, back end is like pure Python, multi-camera, fancy-pantsy, woozy-woozy, thingy-wingy. Open recent. Go for it. Curses. There's nothing there. Right click. Bye. My dude. I gotta get back onto Linux. I have tasted freedom, and I cannot with this Bill Gatesy garbage. Don't have to be nice to billionaires. Main, run. It's going to crash, so that's fine. Run. Circular import. Oh, the cameras didn't die. Because you are the cameras. Thought you could trick me. still need this. F8, F8, F8. Where are you at? Who died? Who's sad? Shouldn't have taken that long. Unless it was just the debugger starting up. Sometimes it might have just been I jumped the debugger. Making sure nothing weird happening in any of these imports. Okay. Trees, you sees. F8, 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 F8. Free support. Just, I don't know what that is. F8, F8, F7, F8, 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 F8. Error. GitHub Copilot, in case you're wondering. I didn't do that, did I? Back-end process, front-end process, right? Because that was a mistake when I did that. Oh, I didn't do that. I auto-extracted that. Okay, pick up where we left off. The goal here is to get to the point where it crashes, and it crashes somewhere in the guts, I think. I think it crashes after I push start, so that's the goal. So I got to this point, clear the previous breakpoints, put a breakpoint here, kill the guy. Bye. I could have just restarted it, but I prefer to hard kill it, see it be dead, and then restart it, just because. Double tap, I guess. I don't know. Here we are in the main loop, creating the sub processes. Go into with F7. Go in. Thank you. Start. Run the backend. F7, 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 F7. Find available port. 8000 was open. That's good. I think something in the guts doesn't die properly, so if I run this multiple times, I think that number actually increments up, which is a that's like one of those things. It's like, don't ignore that. That's a big one. Arguably, all this process garbage that I've been doing is because is to make sure that things die properly. And Skellycam is the architecture I figured out with Skellycam is going to be used in main free mocap. If fail, if blocked, if port not equals there. Okay, you know what? Let's put our money where our mouse is. Put our money where our mouse is. Yeah, you're not allowed. Fail if blocked is now default. If port not equals the preferred port, fail. Because I'm the one making this program. I don't need to create, oh, what if you want it? Like, no, I made it. I'm using it for one purposes. It doesn't need two options. One. Because one is smaller than two. Bye. See, I have to press it twice. What's up with that? Untype is no attribute, is alive. Backprint is alive. Main loop. I think it's just not running. Like, it hasn't gone through. This is my fault. F8, great. And then this is going to start the Uvicorn server. As a process, F8, 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 using those arguments as input. And now it should trigger there, but sometimes the debugger gets weird, so it might not. It didn't. That's fine. Starting. Oh. I don't know why that didn't show up. Maybe it just needs a chance to breathe. I don't know. Oh. Interesting. Be free. Yeah, the debugger was hard pausing everything, so it wasn't able to get through. So now we have this running that, which is a fast API, Swagger, whatever, who's it. That mostly works, I think. You alive? Hello. Cool. F8, F8. If it is alive, then return its guts. Return the process, the host name, and the port. Because I'm still... Ooh. Remember, because we just changed it. It's now, it will fail if it doesn't hit the right port, so I don't need to return that. Control B. Bop, 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 bop. Where am I? What am I doing? What are, yeah, no defaults. No defaults. Create sub-processes. What do you need to know? Yep, here we go. Host. Yep. I almost want to change it to a less common port, just so it can run alongside other programs. I guess that's a reason to make it more flexible, but we're not there yet. I guess. Oh, that makes sense. I should turn that on for prod. Like if like in dev mode, it should crash, but in other people's computers, it should be forgiving of blocked ports. I'm running out of time. I am running out of time. It's always, yeah, time. I just need to learn. I guess it's good like emotional training for myself. To like not go too hard down those holes when they're available. Blah 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 blah. Is F5? What is it here? F9. Thank you. F8, F8, and then you return your guys. And now we're back and create subprocesses. We now have this guy. We have removed these numbers because we broke that thing. Host name port. Hit that there, hit that there, hit that there, kill everybody, goodbye, thank you, put it back there. Bye, restart. Actually, what I do when I'm in a hurry is probably the most useful content that I'm producing, but it's fine. F8, not going to go into you. I'll go into you. Another process, run the Qt application, which looks like this. And F9. What do you know? F8, 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 F8. Oh. No, I do need that. That's the WebSockets and the clients. Main window, pop them up them. Hey. F8, 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 F8. Everybody's happy. Everybody's good. Interestingly, it did not load the logo. I think because of like that's maybe like a lifecycle problem. I'm not sure. But everybody's happy, everybody's going, and then I click on this, get rid of all the breakpoints, goodbye, and I click this, and now it's going to die. Yeah. Failed to read frame from camera exception. They are all blocked. We just can't handle that getting one. There's something else going on in the guts there, but I don't think it will fail. It won't fit, no, because it showed 4. Why did it show 4 if they're all blocked? Maybe I need to do a different check. Interesting. Because I'm using QT's media device thing to get the get the available cameras, which might. I used to be using like just OpenCV video capture and like see which ports had something on it. But that would fail if it just wouldn't return if that port was in use. But it's possible that the video manager would still return if they were in use, and I don't think it's entirely possible I would not have ever encountered that state before. So, which again is a good reason to be streaming while I'm doing this. Okay, I went too long, but that's okay. I'll just message people and say I'm gonna start 5 minutes late because they're it's my lab. I know them. They know me. And that felt productive. I was into that. Very meandery, but this is simultaneous video, essay, blog, personal journal / if you want to read my journal and see what follow me on my tech journey. Perhaps that might be useful to you. Someday this will be organized by a machine. But for now, I shall yeet it into the cybersphere and call it a day and look at the number go up to like 2 or 3 digits and be like, oh shit. Hello. Thank you. Okay. Bye.